Hello and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts, a Centers for Spiritual Living teaching center. I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. I am the founder and the spiritual director. Now, as you are sitting there joining us, you may have questions, any number of questions, such as, who am I? How did I get here? Spiritually integrated arts means what exactly? What is a teaching center? Well, what is Centers for Spiritual Living? What is that? What does that even mean? Or New Thought, or religious science, or science of mind and spirit? You may have any number of questions about this specific community, about the parent organization, CSL, our philosophy, our teaching, our liberation theology. Any number of questions. Feel free to send an email. We look forward to connecting more and building our virtual community, our global community. And if you haven't connected yet on social media, feel free to do so. This is your invitation now. Also, did you know that all of our Sunday messages are archived on our YouTube channel? You can watch it anytime. Now, questions about anything, such as becoming a member. What does that mean? What does membership entail? And if you live somewhere far and already belong to a spiritual community, can you be a member of more than one? The simple answer is yes, you can. Just like you can shop at more than one grocery store, you can attend or be a member of more than one gym. We are building beloved community. So you can do both. You can be a member of both. You can be involved with both. That's what being in spiritual community means. So we welcome you. We invite you. We are so appreciative that you have found this community and that you have joined us today. We bless you. We love you. We welcome you. Live long and prosper. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of our Sunday message. Love you. Connect with you soon. Blessings. Namaste and greetings. Tell me something good. Today, March 17th, that is our theme. Once again, continuing the monthly theme of That's How We've Never Done It. Embarking into this space of being and ever being brand new. So tell me something good. As divine humans, we're gifted with amazing intellectual tools for rational problem solving. Remember, not too long ago, we talked about problem fixing problems and possibility thinking. Just bear that in mind. We've become so reliant on and infatuated with our intellect, our ability to solve problems, quote unquote. So rightly proud of our ability to figure things out that we can easily be thrown for a loop when confronted by those situations where figuring it out just doesn't work. Because sometimes you can't figure things out. Sometimes you can't fix a problem into solution. Sometimes it takes a different method. We've forgotten we can tune into the deeper, quote unquote, because it's not really deeper, but linguistic convenience. We've forgotten we can tune into the deeper intelligence that is available to us, such as the intuition that transcends the intellectual understanding and allow it to deliver our divine solution. It is up to us to release our need, our addiction to problem fixing and figuring it out, over intellectualizing, and to invite our quote unquote inner guidance, our true guidance, our life affirming guidance to lead us into new territory of what it means to live into and experience a brand new day. Tell me something good. In the gospel that is you, what is your good news? Gospel meaning the origin of meaning good news, good information, life affirming information, life affirming news. What is your good news? The good news of you. I'm not just talking about, oh, good news. They're having a sale, 50% off today. What is in your life and your experience? What is your good news? The gospel of you is what? Dr. Holmes says, divine guidance is ours for the asking. The answer to any problem which can ever confront us already exists in the center of our being. Once again, linguistic convenience, because the center of our being, God is a circle, circumference, nowhere. Center, everywhere. So the center of our being is everything. So divine guidance is right there. It is accessible. And when he says for the asking, once again, linguistic convenience, because we need not ask. We don't have to ask our imagination. Okay, I'm asking to imagine a unicorn. We simply connect and access it. We do it. We use it. So when we are asking for this divine guidance, we are tuning in to the part of us that knows, the part of us that is willing to know. How often do we do that, though? Because the rational mind would have us, the intellectual mind would have us, but as it says in Matthew chapter 7, verse 7, ask and it will be given to you. So ask, okay? Keep that in mind. Make it accessible, okay? It goes on to say, seek and ye shall find. When you look, you will see it. And lastly, knock and the door will be opened unto you. You have to do. You have part of the equation in how you live your life. And when it says ask, it's asking in the same way that the artist picks up a pen, picks up a paintbrush, and a piece of paper. There is no technical asking. I'm asking the pen. I'm asking the hand to pick up the pen. I'm asking the pen to be held in the hand. I'm asking the pen to now draw on the paper. I'm asking the paper. You align with the space that knows and knows that it knows, and you act. And when you act, it is given. When you look, when you seek, the answer, the finding is there. That's why it says, seek ye first the kingdom, and all else will be added. And the seeking isn't, where, oh, where is the kingdom at? Oh, where could it be? It's not that kind of seeking. It's be present, physician, heal thyself. Be present. And we say, go within. Go to that space where all of the busyness, the extraneous outside, be present right here, right now. And there it is. In the same way that we're breathing right now. But if the moment I say, become aware of your breath, there's a different, quote unquote, seeking. You are now consciously looking, consciously becoming aware of your breath. So when you seek, you will find. When you allow the awareness to be, then what it is you are being aware of will avail itself. So we ask in the same way that we pray, we declare. We ask in the same way that when we go to a restaurant and we ask the wait staff for whatever it is, we ask with the intention that what I am asking for, I will receive. Now, one important piece, as it says in James 4:3, because it says ask again. Ask and receive not, right? When you ask in this manner, you don't get. Ye ask and you don't receive because you ask amiss. Amiss meaning you ask in a way that is non-life affirming. And this non-life affirming, you are consumed by your own interest, your lust, and your own self-interest that shows up as princes, princesses, parking spaces, and green lights. I, me. I want all the good stuff for me. It shows up as your lust, as your self-interest that show up in the passive aggressive statements of what's in your consciousness. Why did you attract this? Now, you're putting the law of attraction into work. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, but I have no boots. Doesn't matter. That's in your consciousness. Maybe you ought to manifest some boots. And the idea of rugged individualism, this silo consciousness. We exist in our own individual spaces versus the unity of oneness together. So when you ask, when you seek, when you knock, from the motivation of it's non-life affirming, meaning it's just about me. It's selfish, it's greedy, it's manipulative, it's whatever that is. Yeah, there's going to be a different form of manifestation. Now, the funny thing is, there's going to be a manifestation because I can guarantee you that the likes of a Hitler was asking amiss. And yet, nonetheless, he was able to manifest and create a great many heinous things, as are many politicians today. Just the sheer number of anti trans, anti LGBTQ legislation that is being pushed, it's very amiss, aligned with the lusts of their hearts and minds. And yet, policies are still being passed, healthcare is still being denied. So there's still a level of like, let's not misunderstand and think that just simply not praying or asking or seeking in this manner, oh, it's not going to show up. No, something will show up because the law is always in action. Creativity doesn't care what's being created, right? When we think of Oppenheimer, the thing that he created had such destructive power because it was being created from a place of defense that then turned into offense in order to have a weapon in war. But imagine if the same creative power that created that had been creating this power source to benefit human life, to benefit the earth. Imagine what might have then been possible rather than destruction, this creative power for construction. So the creative power creates. We're the ones who choose how that creative power is being utilized, accessed, outpictured. So, what is it you are asking for in your daily mental equivalent? What is it that you are seeking via how you live your life? What doors are you knocking upon for them to be open? Do you have the self awareness? How many of us have the self awareness to realize I shouldn't be knocking on this door? Because this door is not the most life affirming path that I truly desire to be walking on. In the moment, the door of I need a drink. Right now, in the moment, the door of porn on the internet. Right now, the door of I'm going to flip this person off because they didn't use their lane change signal. And whatever the door is, in the moment, we feel righteous. But in the grand scheme of things, is that the door that you really want to open? Like Pandora. Do you really want to open that box? Breathe. Dr. Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker say ideas are coming to me at every instant, and they offer me a greater portion of life than I now have. I accept them and I increase my good. I increase my good individually. I increase our good collectively by the ideas that are coming to me at every instant. Are you open to that energy? Are you open to the idea that ideas are coming to you constantly? But what kind of ideas? Ideas that are life affirming and life supporting, ideas that are anchored and centered in oneness and unity and peace on earth, equity and justice. Ideas of how to help with the unhoused, ideas to help with the current rates of gun violence, ideas that help with getting clean water to everyone, ideas that remove food deserts and provide nutritious and affordable food for all? What kind of ideas are you open to not only having flow to you, flow through you, be expressed by you, but what ideas are you willing to act upon as well? Because simply having an idea, I should write a book, and actually sitting down to write the book, two very different things. Having written the book and then acting upon what needs to come next to publish the book, very different things. The idea to, oh, I could teach a workshop about that. And then the actual teaching it, very different things. Are you willing? Are you open to the flow and the activity of the infinite ideas of the universe flowing to you and through you and being enacted by you? Isaiah 30:21, it says, your ears will hear a word behind you saying, this is the way. Sounds like the Mandalorian. This is the way. Sorry, I had a moment. This is the way. Walk in it. Whenever you turn to the right or to the left, this is the way. So, what is this word? Many people would refer to this word as the muses, that whisper of whatever that inspires. And as the author of this book says, the nine muses, a mythological path to creativity. Well, I want to switch that up and call it a metaphysical path of creativity. How do you invoke? Because you need not writer's block. There's no such thing. Creative block. There is no such thing. The infinite flow of is always present. There's something that the circuits, the divine circuit, for whatever reason, there's something that you are blocking yourself, something you are not allowing yourself access to, because this, whatever we're calling it, is always present. Your intuition is always present. Your inspiration is always, your creativity is always, it's always, because God is always. So how do I embark upon this path of creativity, of infinite ideas, of how do I embark upon this path? Because it's not just whispering behind me, it is me. Like it's right here. It's right here. So, how do I avail myself to hear it, sense it, feel it, taste it, whatever it is? How do I avail myself to be present to those ideas and that creative inspiration? Emerson says, let us acquiesce. Let us take our bloated nothingness out of the path of the divine circuit. Now that ties directly into what I said about, but what is this bloated nothingness? Right? Let us get our bloated nothingness out of the path of our divine circuits, because this bloated nothingness is preventing the circuit from doing what the circuit do. So let's pause for a moment and venture into the realm of bloated. Just in general sense, bloated means something that is swollen with fluid or gas, something that is distended, inflated, in excess. And typically, when something is bloated, there is a feeling of tightness, constriction, pain. What might cause that to be our experience? Fear? Trauma? the ego, and any number of similar things. So the bloated nothingness that he's referring to, while not simply nothing, because we do not minimize trauma, PTSD, etc. It's a thing that needs to be addressed. It's not just, well, it's nothing. No, 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 no. These are actual things that need to be addressed, whether it's with a professional mental health professional or primary care physician or someone. These are things that actually addiction, therapy, sometimes medication, etc. But what he's referring to as bloated nothingness, it's these things. Where do I allow my fear to constrict me and not allow me to connect with the divine, with the ideas, with the imagination? Where does my experience of depression or low self esteem, low self worth, where do these various things show up in an excessive way that constrict my ability to be in the flow and allow the ideas and the creativity and the imagination and the power to be present? So, once again, our invitation, how aware are we? Am I aware of when I feel bloated? Do I seek simply to alleviate the bloat? I'm going to take some Gas X. I'm going to take an antacid. I'm going to take some Beano because the bloat, I'm just treating the gas. I'm just treating the symptom versus what's causing this bloated feeling in the first place. In the same way that we would do that physically with foods and drinks to figure out, is coffee causing me to be bloated? Is wait a minute. When I eat, it's let me work on that. Let me either eliminate that from my diet or reduce the amount of it. Something. I go to the cause. Well, the same way we would do that in the physical, we can do that in the emotional, the mental, the spiritual. What is causing the bloated nothingness to constrict and to block? What in my life is bloated? What is a nothing that I have made into something or am currently making into something? Sometimes someone will say something very innocently and we blow it out of proportions. We swell it up out of proportions and make it into something else. And what divine circuits am I blocking? The divine circuits of love, the divine circuits of authentic power, the divine circuits of the good news that is my life, healing. Am I blocking my healing? Breathe. Einstein says the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Now, rational mind and intuitive mind, duality. And he refers to the rational mind as a faithful servant, and that we have given it more weight than it actually should have. Okay. And the intuitive mind, we take it for granted. Okay. And so our invitation is, how do we bring them into balance? Well, rather than looking at the balance even in this way, how about we look at the balance more in terms of this? Because whether it's intuitive mind or rational mind, there's still only one mind. So it's not either or, it's both and. How do we connect? How do we recognize the connection that already exists? Where intuitive mind and rational mind, they're not two separate, they're in one mind. They are simply right there, connected, inseparable. It's a matter of, for example, right now, as an able-bodied individual who has two arms, two hands, well, I'm going to only use my right hand for so much because it is a faithful servant, and then but I'm not using my left. Well, no, because I can reach for my phone because my phone is over there. I can reach for it with my left hand, and I can reach for the bliss decks with my right hand, and I'm using them in an ambidextrous manner. I am using them. I can even put them both down together and pick them up at the same time and put them down together. I can do this at the same time. I can pick up a cup of coffee and hold it with my left and stir it with me. They're working in unison. They are working together because they are connected by one body. So where do we recognize the interconnectivity, the meta-dependence of rational mind and intuitive mind? Because there is only one mind, and then use it accordingly. Stein goes on to say, when the solution is simple, God is answering. And I want to make sure we clarify, because oftentimes when we hear the word simple, we think of something that is effortless and easy, right? It doesn't require or demand much of us. And let's be very clear that when we are referring to simple, it may be that, but it's not just that. Simple is also that which is clear, right? It's that which is easily accessible. So when he says the answer simple, the solution simple, it's clear. It's very user friendly. It's easy to understand. It's not ambiguous. Keep that in mind because sometimes we overcomplicate things, such as peace. Peace need not be a complicated thing. But we make it complicated because we are unwilling to do all of the necessary healing pieces to remove war. We, as a people, as a collective, are unwilling to resolve and heal and communicate in a way that eradicates war, that eradicates racism, that eradicates homomisia. But the answer is simple. Are we willing to act upon that answer? As the new year continues, we are called to explore, expand, and practice greater expressions of creativity and possibility. Our embodied application of the science of mind and spirit, our embodied application, is a necessary part of this process of asking and experiencing, of removing the bloated nothingness from the equation and aligning with the divine circuits that enable us to transform the world, creating a beloved global community that is the realization of Dr. King's dream. Are we embodying the teaching in such a way that we are making this inevitable?
Are we making it simple enough that it is inevitable? This week's declaration, or affirmation, I will say it first. And if it resonates with you, say it with me on the second go round. I always have access to divine intelligence, and it guides me every moment of every new day. Together. I always have access to divine intelligence, and it guides me every moment of every new day. Yes, it does. This week's journal questions and study group for the Thursday night, their questions. Number one, what does it look like? What does it feel like for you to discern which voice, inner guidance, ego, is quote unquote speaking to you? What is the voice that motivates you? Life affirming, non life affirming? What does it feel like for you to be able to discern that? And how do you increase the frequency of the life affirming voice? Number two, what inspires you? What nurtures you? What nurtures your creativity and your inspiration so that you don't have to be at the whim of the muses, any muses? You are so immersed in and entrenched in your inspiration and creativity that it is there as easy as that breath. Number three, when in your life have you ever had new information or a surprising new idea come to you during meditation, during a visioning practice, or in a dream? Can you identify a time that that has happened? Number four, share one example of a time that you had a prayer or a wish or a hope or an intention that was fulfilled or answered in a totally unexpected yet perfectly satisfying way. And lastly, if you were to write the gospel according to you, give an example of three things that exemplify, that demonstrate the good news of your life. And why did you select those three things? What is it about those three things that they are the prime examples that you have selected? Breathe. We enter into that space. The infinite awareness that ideas and creativity and imagination are ever flowing. They are just as present as when I choose to inhale, there's oxygen available. Right now, there's oxygen available. It's not like I'm in a box where there is no oxygen. The oxygen is available. The electricity is available for me to plug into. My voice is available when I choose to speak. It is available, but I can choose silence. I can choose to hold my breath, but I can only do that for a certain amount of time. And while there may be occurrences where, diving into a swimming pool to hold your breath for a moment, there may be moments of shh, be silent in the moment. And yet I know that there are other times when speaking is the thing that I most need to access. Breathing is the thing that I most need to access. In the same way that these things are readily available, so too are ideas, intuition, creativity, imagination, infinite possibilities, ever present. So as I speak this, I know that what applies to me applies to all of us. This power, this presence, this imagination, intuition, creativity, all of it is present in us, moves through us, expressed by us, lived as us in each moment of every new day. And it is that power that we access in order to heal individually and collectively. It is that power that creates the lived experience of Dr. King's dream, a world that works for all. It is that power that gives us the ability to transform our individual lives and the collective consciousness and the collective experience on this planet. So we engage in that with a new gospel that is life affirming. The gospel, the good news of planet Earth, the good news of peace on earth, goodwill toward all, the good news of a world that works for all, the good news of health and well-being, food and water, health care, the good news of equity and justice, the good news of. That is what we are writing. That is what we are living. That is what we are declaring right here and right now. And the law says yes. And knowing that that yes is the law's way of giving its amen to this prayer, to this message, to our lives, I, with gratitude, touch and agree with that amen and allow this to be exactly what it is. Answered prayer. That's what is so. And so it is. Namaste. Blessings. Love and joy. So if you are joining us, today is our last after message Zoom fellowship for this month. We will reconvene next month. But if you're joining us today, I will see you momentarily over in Zoom. Namaste, blessings, much love and appreciation.